Hi, my name is Brad Oestreich, and this is my Class 2 assignment for EDU528, Calculating Transportation Cost. For this assignment, I looked at a previous school district that I've worked for, which is Fulton Public Schools. Now, they own their own fleet of buses, so there was no contract that I had to figure in when figuring out the total transportation costs. When talking to the transportation director, I was able to obtain some information about the cost per mile and the bus driver hourly rate. The cost per mile per bus is estimated at about 41 cents per mile. This covers just the general maintenance and upkeep on the buses. Along with that, also is the bus driver hourly rate for Fulton Public Schools for activities, which is $12.46. And these numbers will obviously come into play on my next couple of slides when we're looking to find the total cost of transportation for the activities that I decided to look into. The first activity that I looked into for the Fulton High School was the girls soccer team. Now, see over on the first column under away games, the girls soccer team has a total of 9 away games. Now, Fulton girls soccer team has a varsity and a JV team, but the JV team always travels with the varsity team. They never have their own competition at a different destination. They're always playing at the same place on the same day as the varsity team, so they always travel together. The varsity team is in a tournament, which is under the away games. You'll see Warrenton there in the first 2 columns. That is a varsity only tournament. But other than that, all the other games are varsity and JV. The first column I have here is the round trip distance. And this is from Fulton High School to the high school that they're playing at. And how I came up with this is I simply went on to Google Maps, typed in Fulton High School, typed in the high school that they're playing at, and got a one-way distance from Fulton High School to that high school, and then just simply multiplied it by 2 to get the round trip distance. My next 2 columns are the depart time and the arrival back time. And how I came up with these 2 estimated times are, I know that the soccer team would like to get to their opponent's field about an hour before game time. So I would look at how long it would take to get from Fulton High School to the opponent's field, add in that hour before they get there, and that's how I came up with the depart time. And then the arrival time, I estimated when the game would be done, and then just added that with how long it took them to get home to come up with the estimated arrival back time. And then I was able to take those 2 numbers and figure out the total hours, which is right here. All right, so if you look at the first column here, the 2 hours and 40, they left at 2:45 p.m. They arrived back at Fulton High School at 7:15 p.m., which came to a total of 4.5 hours for that trip. Next, I came up with the cost per mile, which again is 41 cents per mile. And to come up with that, I simply took the round trip distance. So looking at this first column, we have 94 miles round trip. Multiplied that by the 41 cents, which gave me the total of $38.54 for that trip. The next column that I looked at was the driver hourly rate. And to come up with that, I simply looked at the hours, total hours. So in this first column here was 4.5 hours. All right, I multiplied that by the $12.46, which is the hourly rate that Fulton pays their bus drivers. And so that came out to a total of $56.07. All right, so the total cost for the first Warrenton trip for the girls soccer team was $94.61 there. So then once I was able to find the cost for all the away trips for the per mile cost and the driver hourly rate cost, I was able to find out the total cost. So the total cost for the cost per mile was $456.74 for all 9 away trips. The hourly rate cost was $741.37. And adding those two together, the total cost for transportation for the girls soccer team this season was $1,198.11. For the next activity for Fulton High School, I looked at the football team. And you'll notice up there at the top in the yellow, right next to where it says Fulton High School, in parentheses it has 2 buses per trip. So for the football team, Fulton takes 2 buses. So that means that everything on here is going to be multiplied by 2. But other than that, it was all figured out pretty much the exact same way that the girls soccer team transportation cost was figured out. Another difference is while looking under the away game, Fulton has a varsity and a JV team. Now they play on different dates, sometimes at the sometimes same locations but different dates, sometimes totally different locations. So that does come into effect when it comes to how many away games they have. For the total away games for both the varsity and the JV, it comes out to 9 total away games. So again, I mentioned that they take 2 buses. So for the round trip distance, here you'll see it's 146 miles round trip from Fulton High School to Oestreich High School and then back. But again, they take 2 buses, so that'll be multiplied by 2. The depart time and arrival time, I figured out the exact same way that I did with the girls soccer team. The only exception is I got the football team to the destination 2 hours ahead of game time rather than just 1. Here you're looking at total hours. You'll notice here in parentheses I have times 2. All right, so under this first column here, the Osage varsity game, total hours is 8 multiplied by 2, so it is actually 16 total hours because of the 2 buses that they take with them. Figuring out the driver hourly rate, all right, here in this column, what I did was I took the 8 hours that the bus trip was gone for, and I multiplied that by 2, which came up to 16 total hours. And then I took 16 times 1246 to get the total driver hourly cost for both buses, which came out to $199.36, since there are 2 buses there. All right. This also goes for the cost per mile. All right, so for instance, for this first one, 146 miles round trip. All right, but I had to multiply that by 2. All right, so it comes out to 292 round trip miles with 2 buses. I multiplied that 292 by 41 cents. Give me the total cost per mile for the 2 buses, which is $119.72. All right, and then just like in the girls' activity, girls' transportation, I added those 2 columns together, the 119.72 and the 199.36, to get the total cost for that Osage varsity trip of $319.08. Now, once I figured out every away game for cost per mile and the driver hourly rate, I added them all together to get the total cost of transportation. So the cost per mile for the football team during this season was $1,082.40, and the driver hourly rate was $1,557.50. Add those 2 together, so the total cost of transportation for the boys football team was $2,639.90. That concludes my transportation cost presentation. Hopefully you were able to follow along, and I appreciate you taking a look with me. Thank you.